Navigating public transportation systems. I often find public transport to be an adventure. You never know who you'll meet on the bus. The subway can feel like a maze at times. I always check the schedule before heading out. Missing a train can throw off your whole day. I love the buzz of a busy train station. Taking the bus gives you a chance to relax. I prefer the window seat to enjoy the view. It's fun to watch the city as we move along. Sometimes I listen to music while I ride. People watching on the train can be entertaining. I always keep an eye on my belongings. The last train home is often the quietest. You can learn a lot about a city on the bus. I try to sit near the front for a better view. Navigating transfers can be tricky, but it's part of the fun. I keep a map handy just in case. Some days, I take the scenic route on purpose. The underground stations have a unique charm, don't you think? I love the smell of coffee at the train station. Waiting for the bus can be a great time to think. I always bring a book to read while I travel. Sometimes, I make new friends on long rides. The best conversations often happen on public transport. I keep my headphones in to avoid small talk. It's surprising how many stories people carry with them. I have my favorite routes that I take often. Late-night rides can feel a bit lonely. I always check if there are any delays before I leave. The bus drivers usually know the best shortcuts. I often take the same bus at the same time. Each driver has their own style of driving. I find the sounds of the subway quite calming. The rush hour can be overwhelming, though. I try to avoid the busiest times if I can. It's nice to see familiar faces on my commute. I find it easier to plan my day on the train. The sights from a double-decker bus are unbeatable. I always feel a sense of freedom on public transport. You can get to know a city better by using its buses. I often sit back and enjoy the ride. The overhead announcements always catch my attention. I find joy in the routine of my daily commute. Using a transit app makes everything much easier. I have learned to trust public transport with my time. The connections between different lines can be confusing. I like to sit near the door to get off quickly. There's a certain thrill in catching the last train. I enjoy the feeling of being part of a crowd. Riding with locals gives you a different perspective. I often notice the small details in my surroundings. The experience of public transport is always changing. I like to plan my trips around events in the city. There's a rhythm to the way people move in stations. I often feel inspired while riding the train. The best stories come from unexpected encounters. I can't imagine a city without its public transport. Sometimes I just ride to explore new areas. I find peace in the hustle and bustle of travel. The thrill of getting lost can lead to new adventures. Each ride has its own unique atmosphere. I cherish the moments of quiet reflection during my trips. Public transport is a window to the world outside. I often think about the stories behind the faces I see. Riding the bus has become a part of my routine. I enjoy the little surprises that come with each journey. The connections I make on public transport are memorable. I love the feeling of exploring a new city by bus. Each journey has its own rhythm and flow. I find comfort in the familiarity of my route. I always look forward to my next adventure on public transport.